first question. What are the fundraiser ideas you have for next year, and how will you make it different from previous years?
Well, in general, I want to make the fundraisers more accessible. And so an online one would be good, like an Instagram post. Like, for example, some orgs are doing like a bingo photo where you just donate a certain amount of money, and then you could either make a challenge, or for each donation you would make like an appreciation post for each of them.
Follow up. What about in person then?
For in person, let's see. Since we're focused more on, I believe we have done Wings and Things, Fengcha, and other food places, I would try and go to one that has more activities, like maybe bowling or perhaps karaoke. And yeah, explore those ideas.
Second question. Aside from small fundraisers, like you talk about Buncha, Binky, stuff like that, what are your projects for bigger events? Like in the past, we had ABSA Valorant tournament. So is there any ideas that you would like to implement for the next year?
I could honestly, we'd also bring that back, but in addition to that, we could also make an event that has an entry. What is it? An entry to, or a price for entry. I mean,
So for the third question, it's going to be a scenario based. So you talk to a place for fundraising, and you and the place that you talked to negotiated the certain amount of people showing up, but then it didn't hit the required amount, so you get none of the money. So how will you handle the situation?
well, in that case, I would have to collaborate with them a little more. I would speak to them, try and compromise with the price, and try and do a little more research, because if the parameters seems to be a little more unreasonable, I would simply just state that and convince them in that way so we can get our funds properly.
Okay, for your fourth question, this is a scenario question. The budget for an event was approved for X amount of money. How would you handle a situation in which an unexpected expense comes up in which the funds were not allocated for it?
Well, in terms of that, um, if it's already, if it's within the budget, I would just allocate a little more. If it's not within the budget, I would simply just recalculate the finances and maybe put an event into a smaller scale, as opposed to trying to force something that is without our, or that's not within our budget.
For your last question, how do you deal with fundraisers / sponsorships that don't respond in a timely manner?
Well, if they don't respond, simply just follow up with them and go through all the different communications, as like text messages, emails, or simply calling. Worst case scenario, talking to them directly if they're available around the location. If not, look for a possible replacement for them, since we could not, if an event is happening sooner rather than later, it would be much better to find one that could supply as soon as possible.